Okay, folks, the time has finally come for me to talk about the Luzz Pro Cannon. You've probably heard about this paddle and how crazy powerful it is. We're going to talk about that and more. First, I got stats for you up on the screen right now for you to take a look at. Two things I want to point out to you. Number one is the weight. I got mine 7.9 ounces. That's pretty light for an elongated paddle, and I was really surprised by that. If you're someone who likes to customize their paddle with extra weight, you've got a great platform to do that with. The second thing to talk about is that this paddle is dual certified. So that means it's USAP certified and UPA-A certified. So if you want to play in a PPA sanctioned tournament, you can use this paddle if you so choose. Let's move on to drives and serves with the Luzz. Well, right out of the gate, because it's an elongated paddle, your drives and serves are going to be better than if you have a hybrid or standard shape paddle. But this thing delivers power like no other paddle that I've used before. It's raw and at times feels uncontrollable. The thing that helps keep things under control is the grit on the surface of this paddle. It lets you generate that top spin so that the ball can dip and you're not constantly hitting the ball past the baseline to your opponents. I will say that if you are not someone who is experienced with a power paddle, you're probably going to be hitting drives and serves along with this paddle. If you're finding that that's happening on your serves, you can always step back from the baseline a little bit, give yourself a little bit more space so you have a little more room. But yeah, you're going to find that your drives, serves are fast and powerful, and some of the people you play against may have trouble dealing with that speed. Now let's talk about drops and resets. Well, because it's a power paddle and it's quite poppy as well, it can be a little difficult to manage those drops and resets. I did find that my resets, instead of, say, maybe falling in front of a player who was driving the ball at me, it would go straight at them. And so I had to make sure that when I was resetting that my motion was short and my grip was soft on the paddle in order to get the ball where I wanted it to go. Yeah, you're going to reset it, and sometimes when you're playing against people, a ball that's coming back, reset back to them real fast after a drive is going to throw them off. More experienced players are going to be able to handle that, but I think you're going to surprise a lot of people when you're resetting with this. Just watch out on your drops. Your drops may be a little bit high. You're going to have to adapt to the power in this paddle, but if you're an advanced enough player, you shouldn't have trouble with that. So when you're at the kitchen, obviously in a firefight, this thing is going to help you win some of those firefights. You're going to be able to get the ball back to them quickly with pace, and that's going to throw off a lot of people and be difficult for some people. If you have to come back and smash an overhead, any balls high, you're going to be able to put them away because the power on this thing. In addition, with dinking, if you can control the power off of this, the grit is going to help you to produce topspin on the ball so that your dinks can be a lot more aggressive. I tell you personally, I had a little trouble with it, but here's the thing. I was playing indoors with this, and when I say indoors, I mean with an indoor ball. And so it was a little tough to control that indoor ball, but I did find that after a while, I was able to get the control on it that I wanted. Now, as far as the quality on this paddle, it feels solid. I'm not hearing any crackling in the core. I have noticed, and I saw from some graphics, they have a strip in the middle that kind of reinforces the center of the paddle, which is where you're going to be hopefully hitting the ball most, and where you could possibly see core crushing. They put that strip in there to kind of protect the middle, and also I think that probably adds some additional stiffness and gives it that pop that a lot of people are experiencing when they use this paddle. But quality-wise, it feels good. It feels solid. Nothing's twisting. Nothing's bending. Nothing's crackling. It feels like a great paddle. They do have a 1-year warranty with this. And in addition, you can add on an extra year, so you'd have a 2-year warranty for an additional $30. So let's talk about the appearance. It's plain black. I'm pretty much wearing plain black if you ignore the logo right here. Why is that? Well, the UPA-A charges more if you want to be able to have fancy graphics on there. Otherwise, you can just have your players play with a blacked out paddle, and that's the route that Luzz has gone. There is, I don't know if you can see it, it's a little hard to see. Maybe you can. You can see the Luzz symbol there where it's been blacked out, and that just helps it so that they can keep the price down on this paddle by not paying that additional fee of having fancy colorways and things like that with the paddle. All right, now it's time to talk about value. This paddle starts out at $109.99. If you use code GenXDinks, you can get this for $93. That's right, a $93 for a dual certified power paddle. This is just an incredible value. I don't know how Luzz is able to do this, but somehow they are. When you factor that in, plus the 1-year warranty, and if you want to, you can extend that warranty. I mean, you got to think about that. For less than $130, you can get a pro-level paddle with a 2-year warranty on it. That's just insane. That's just absolutely insane. And this thing competes with the Yolas and a number of other of those power paddles that are out there. I don't think this is boomstick level power, but it does compete with the Yolas. So if you're out there and you're saying, man, I can't afford $270, $280 for one of those Yolas, this is a great option for you if you're looking for power and budget. So who is this paddle for? I already mentioned that if you're looking for power on budget, this is the #1 power paddle that you're going to get for under $100. There's just no, hands down, you're not going to beat this paddle for under $100, at least none of the ones that I've played with. Also, if you are looking to play fast-paced and with power, this is going to be the paddle for you. If you can handle those fast-paced games, if you've got those fast hands, this paddle is for you. Advanced players are going to be able to manage the power in this paddle at the kitchen and utilize the spin that this paddle generates to their advantage. All right, so final thoughts. This paddle is an exceptional value. If you want power on a budget, this is the way to do it. You know, it's like going out and putting NOS in your car. It's like the NOS of pickleball paddles. It looks, you know, very stealth. The stealth look seems to be the thing that's kind of coming back these days. You can dress it up with your over grip and, you know, an edge guard or something like that. So you can add a little color and a little more flair to it if you want to. I highly recommend the Luzz Pro Cannon. Use the code GenXDinks and get it for $93. Thanks for watching.